let's talk about Reading Festival. I thought it would be a really good idea I thought it would just be really good to look at some other active artists that would fit quite nicely into the Reading lineup. Now, I'm not going to go through everyone who I think is going to be there. Usually Reading has around 200 bands. So the way I'm kind of breaking this down is that I'm looking at people who are either announcing that they're working on a new album, people who are touring, people who are just kind of active in general, and who could fit that bill of playing Reading Festival quite nicely. Going to some kind of newer bands now, I think an artist that's been getting a lot of support from the BBC is Sam Fender. Now, I've talked about him on my Music Club videos before. He was part of the BBC Introducing Sound of 2018, and he recently played on Jules Holland and is getting some pretty good success from that. I'd love to see him in the Festival Republic, but if we end up seeing an album out next year, then I would be very surprised if we didn't see him playing on the Radio 1 stage. Another artist that I think we could see is Grimes. Previously played in 2012. What a year. She's got a new album set to come out either this year or next year, but I could see her either playing the dance stage or the Radio 1 stage, and if she does, hopefully that means I get to stand and have a beer with Elon Musk. That would be amazing. Another artist that I'm shocked to have never seen at Reading is Yellow Days. Yellow Days is actually playing over there in about a month and a half's time, so hopefully I'll get to see him before then. But it's starting to get really good support from Keith Stevens and from Annie Mac. He had a debut album out last year and has just released another new single. I'd love to see him on the Festival Republic stage or the Radio 1 stage, either or. Ideally on a Saturday morning when my soul needs a little bit of healing. Other bands that are kind of active are the Blood Red Shoes. They've played Reading loads of times before. They've got a new album set to release in 2019. I can see them either playing the Radio 1 stage or, you know what, they're kind of one of those bands that they've got a bit of a following, so I think they could maybe headline the Festival Republic stage. I think they'd fit into that category quite nicely. We're going a little bit off now, but an artist who I think, with the running theme of hip-hop getting ever bigger at Reading and Leeds, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an artist like Jaden Smith. Now, Jaden Smith's very good friends with both the guys from Brockhampton and Odd Future Wolfgang, with Tyler the Creator being one of his good friends, apparently. And both of those acts have come and had absolutely enormous success at Reading and Leeds in the past. He had his debut album out last year, with another album set to come out this month. Someone like Jaden Smith could certainly play really a big part at Reading. Maybe the one extra stage, quite high up, or yeah, I don't know. It depends how good his next album is, I suppose. A band that I was really gutted that wasn't there this year was Idols. Idols last played in 2017 on the Festival Republic stage and had an incredible set. And they're actually playing again over there in January, so hopefully I'll get to see them again before I fly back to the UK. Their second album came out this year and is even getting daytime support on Radio 1, and they've done interviews with ITV News and all sorts, so I think that they're definitely, I'd love to see them, and I think that's probably quite likely. They supported the Maccabees on their farewell tour, and they also supported the Foo Fighters with their 2017 UK show, so I think that we would see them in a much bigger space than the Festival Republic. I think that would make a lot of sense, especially as they've already played there. And I'd love to see them play on the Radio 1 stage, because I think that atmosphere would be incredible. A band that I really hope that we get get announced is Lost Under Heaven. I think that Lost Under Heaven are the best band you've never heard of. Formerly Le played in 2016? Yeah, in 2016. They played on the Festival Republic stage to about 25 people. 5 of those people were my crew. To be fair to them, they were clashing with both Crystal Castles and Churches, who have huge fan bases. And actually, you know, kind of clash with their sound a little bit. So I hope that I get to see them play Reading again, because I actually think they're one of the best bands in the UK right now. They're certainly the most underrated. Their new EP is amazing. Every song on their first album is amazing. They don't have a bad song, and they just announced they're going to be releasing a new album in January, just in time for my birthday. And they've got some sold-out shows in London, so they're definitely building momentum, which is great to hear. And I'd love to see them gain some more success and see them play some of the bigger stages. I love to see them play the Radio 1 stage, but I quite like to see them do a much better set on the Festival Republic. A band that's getting a lot of support from Radio 1 at the moment is Father Son. They're a kind of a rock and roll group from Scotland. They recently played Maid of Vale for Annie Mac on her Radio 1 show, so I think we could see them play potentially the Radio 1 stage. Oh, you know, they'd fit quite well on the main stage. They've got quite a big sound. Their third album released in September, so they're kind of active. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them announced. Another band that's back and active is Brut. They're incredibly popular in the late noughties, and they released a new album in October, so I think maybe we could see them potentially headline the Festival Public stage. I think they're kind of one of those bands that could. I can't see that they've ever played Reading and Leeds before, which absolutely shocks me. But as they're kind of active, I think that might be one that would work. Ratboy came out with his debut album last year, which had great success with The Enemy and Radio 1, and he's got a second album due for release next year. Following in the kind of indie root sounds of Jamie T and other artists like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ratboy announced. I can see him actually jumping up to the main stage. He's got quite a big following and has definitely got a bit of a party sound to him, so yeah, maybe, we'll see. Another band that's active at the moment is White Lies. They last played in 2013. That was my little brother's first year. Bless his little cotton socks. I think that was the year that I ended up getting my girlfriend on TV as well during White Lies. They were actually clashing with Catfish and the Bottlemen, who were playing the BBC introducing stage that year. That is mad. I did know Catfish at that point. I only knew one song though, and I apologise to Van McCann personally when I met him in Bristol. They've got a fifth album due for release next year, so I think White Lies could be a good guess. I don't think they're quite the big band that they were, but I think we could see them headline maybe the Festival Public stage. I think they're one of those bands. They've got a good following, people really like them, they've got some great songs, and I think they're kind of old enough now where they could headline that slot quite nicely. A name that's popped up quite recently for me in terms of discovery is Dylan Cartledge. He recently collaborated with Jamie T, who is an R&L absolute favourite, and has just released a new EP. So I think Dylan could be someone that we see kind of mid-card Saturday, Festival Republic, especially as he hasn't got any albums out yet. I think that would make a lot of sense. So I think that could be a possibility. Guessing some of these little bands is going to be really good, because actually when you look back, they're the ones that you remember seeing in the small tents. Seeing Wolf Alice in Festival Republic, seeing the XX in the Festival Republic, seeing Catfish and the Bottlemen in the Festival Republic. This year seeing Happy Meal Limited was absolutely enormous. They're memories that last. So hopefully we get to see some careers started this year. A band that I think we could see play the pit stage, just because I see they're releasing a new album, I thought we'd put it in here, is POD. Somewhat of a comedic entry, I know. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them announced that they're playing the pit. It's kind of a bit of metal nostalgia for some of the fanboys. Speaking of the pit, another band that's getting a lot of support from Radio 1 at the moment is While She Sleeps. They actually were featured in the first 20 minutes of Annie Mac's show the other day, so certainly getting bigger. I could see him high up, if not headline the pit stage, or maybe even an early slot on the main stage on one of the more metal days. Maybe, I don't know. Something that I know Smokey would be very happy with. Another band that I think we could see on the pit is a band called Sur, who are getting heavy support from Daniel P. Carter. Now, Daniel P. Carter actually, he curates the pit stage every year. So I think if we start listening to bands that he's really excited about, we could start to guess who's going to play, and I think Sur could be one of them. They actually played the BBC introducing stage in 2017, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them. If not the pit, then I think we could see them on the Festival Republic. And last is a band that I've been trying to follow for a while now, and I'm surprised they've never played R&L. It's a band called Glue. They're from Littlehampton. They had a debut album out this year. They've got some great records. I feature them on my music club as I've been quite a fan of theirs for a few years now. But they've got a great party kind of punk sound. So I think if they were to get booked, which I think they should, that we would see them on the pit stage or the Festival Republic. I think that would be a really good booking. Let me know any other bands that you think that will be playing. I'm not looking at headliners. We're just looking at people that are active, people that could fit the bill. And, you know, who would you want to see there? And I'm not talking dream lineup, I'm just talking who's around that you would like to see play Reading Festival 2019. Let's get the discussion started, and I'll see you next time.